Sweet. To share screen. Share. Sweet. Okay, so that should be all I need to do. Hi, kids. Anybody out there? I see some kids connecting. Awesome. Yep. There's gosh dang Mao Zedong. That must be Brian Tang. Brian, how you doing, buddy? Okay, kids. Uh, I see some of you on here. There's a few of you on here. It'd be nice if there was more, but maybe some more kids will join yet. And I know Miss Z is having one right now too. And her and I are going to do a better job of coordinating that in the future. That was actually my fault. I shouldn't have scheduled one for this time. She did move hers back to 2 o'clock maybe today. So if you want to participate in Miss Z's at 2, you can still do that if you have her as a teacher. Okay. So if you can't talk to me right now, there's a reason for that. I've got you all muted. And the reason why I've got you all muted is because I want to present your next lesson first, and then I'll give you an opportunity to talk to me about that assignment or anything else. Last time when I did one of these, I didn't have the kids muted and they were, a lot of people were talking and it was a little chaotic and I didn't really like it. Okay. So I've got you muted right now. In a little bit, I'll give you the ability to talk to me. I'll unmute you. And when you want to say something, you click unmute on your side and then you can talk to me if you want to. Okay. Now I've got to make sure that I'm recording this. So give me a second here. Where do I hit that button? I want to record this. Looks like I am recording. Looks like it's recording. Okay. All right. Hopefully it is because I want to share it with kids and maybe want to view it later. Let me just check. It says stop recording, so I'm assuming it's recording. I sure hope it is. Okay, so what I've done is you could probably, hopefully you can see my screen, and then I'm up in the corner over here. I think I've enabled, let me make sure that I can see your chat. Okay, so I've got my chat window open. So I'm going to say hello through the chat. Okay, and hopefully you can view that. I'll just say hello. I don't know why I said hello through the chat. Okay, so if you have a question that pops into your beautiful brains while I'm going through this next assignment, there I got hi. Yeah, sweet, it's working. If you have a question that pops into your brains, and since I've got you muted right now, you can just put it in the chat and I'll deal with it. And then I am going to give you a little bit of opportunity. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to you in a little bit. Hi, Jared. Hello, buddy. Jared, kids in the halls in the hizzle. Oh man, I miss doing those nicknames in class. Okay. All right. Okay, so give me a second here. So what I want to do, kids, is show you, and let me get to social studies 2 here. Hopefully you can see the screen. I was just posting the honors one from this morning on their class right before this meeting started. So, okay, so here's what I want you to do for your next assignment. Okay, and we'll talk about the one that's due today too, if you have questions about that one. I hope this isn't too confusing. I've got an assignment due today, but I also want to talk about the one that's coming up. And that's the way I'm going to kind of have to do things since my days are limited. And I hope that's not confusing on the extended closure that, okay, we've got an assignment due today, but he's talking about the next one. It's just going to be kind of the way, I only got 2 days where I can really talk to you now, which for me is frustrating because There's a lot of content I want to cover, but I do understand it. I do understand that it was probably good to cut back on some things because this is, this is a tough situation. It's not ideal, that's for sure. Okay, Superman Lascaux. And just remember, Spider-Man's my favorite. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go to this activity here, kids, and it is going to require a little bit of thinking on your part. So on this link, now this is not due until the end of day of Tuesday. We're just talking about it today. You've got time. If you want to knock it out today and get it done, great. You'll be done for a little while. But this is not due until Tuesday. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is open up the reading. So what I've got here for you is a 2-page reading. Okay. All right, somebody not muted, or is that me talking to them? Okay. All right, so what I've got here is a 2-page reading. Okay, and I think this is a pretty good excerpt. I think it's a pretty good story. It's an excerpt. There are a few typos in it from the website I got it, which is unfortunate. But it's a 2-page reading from this book called The Fight in the Fields. And it's about the Grape Boycott. Now, if you had a chance to view my lecture, and most of you commented on that, which was awesome. Thank you. Good comments. Makes me feel good when kids comment on my lecture. And I do give you points for it. Okay. So thank you for that. But anyway, it's about the boycott that was led by Cesar Chavez. So it was a great boycott, right? And hopefully you remember what a boycott is. Think Montgomery bus boycott, right? A boycott is when you refuse to purchase something or give a company a business or give a company business because you want them to change an injustice. You want them to change a practice that you think they're doing wrong. So what agricultural laborers did, mostly Hispanic agricultural laborers, right, Mexican Americans in across the country, but others as well. What they did was they tried to have a boycott across the country in which people stopped buying grapes from major grocery stores. Okay. And the hope was that by doing that, it would hurt the huge agribusiness farms, corporate farms that were employing them, and they would improve their working conditions. So that's what this is about. So this is about agricultural laborers trying to get people to stop buying grapes so their working conditions will be improved. Okay, so it's a 2-page reading. All right. A couple other things to tell you about this assignment. Now, also on there, now what I did, kids, is I recorded myself reading the story and pausing and explaining things. So I read the reading out loud, just because some of it's tough. Some of you might appreciate that, hearing the reading, but also it gave me an opportunity to explain things. What I would do is like read a little bit, pause and explain a word, pause and explain it's something going on, maybe a newspaper that was mentioned or an act, a person, right? So it allowed me to kind of explain things, and hopefully that'll help you understand the reading better if you feel like you need to do that. If you don't need to listen to that, you don't have to. I won't know any different, right? If you just want to read it, that's fine. But if you want my explanation of it and you like listening to things being read, I did that for you. Okay, and that'll probably really help you understand what's going on. And remember, you've got till the end of the day, Tuesday, to do this. So you do got some time if you want to listen to that. Now, let me explain what you're going to do with this. Okay. So you get done with the reading, right? Maybe listen to the oral part of the reading. You'll have some questions to answer. Okay. And here are the questions. Now, the first question is, what is a boycott? And you should know what that is. And I kind of just told you, right? So, and I tell you in the reading too. So, okay. So you should know what a boycott is, and you should know some examples of a boycott. I just mentioned one that we covered, right? So there's another one you should know about for sure, and then maybe find another, right? Because it does ask for examples. So we're looking for 2, right? So see if you can find 2. Now this question, number 2, is kind of interesting, maybe a little bit of a tricky question. What did Cesar Chavez know about boycotts prior to sending his workers out to conduct a boycott? What does this say about his leadership what does this say about his colleagues? It's a little bit of a tricky question, and there's a lot of different ways you can answer it. Okay, so let me go back to the reading for a second to try and help you out with this one. So when you get to number two, you want to look at this dialogue here, and actually probably some of the end of this paragraph here. So there's a conversation here. Okay, and that'll help you with number two. And what I want you to think about with number two, what I'm looking for is, so a couple of Cesar Chavez's workers, supporters, Al and Helena Rojas, Al Rojas, Elena Rojas, they say, "Hey, Cesar, you want us to carry out this boycott? How do we do it?" And he's like, "I really don't know." Just get them to stop buying grapes. So, shouldn't be touching my face, right? Oh, I've been washing my hands though. But anyway, uh, what I want you to think about is, so they ask him how to do his boycott, and he says, "I really don't know. Uh, Please try to do it." He's he's not giving them a lot of instructions, but he's firmly trusting them to do it. So, what kind of leadership style is that, or what do you think about a leader who does that? Right? Do you think he should have done more here, or do you think there's some good things about doing this? I mean, he obviously really trusts these people to pull it off, and it is kind of extraordinary that these people are willing to do what they're trying to do for him. Okay. So think of it that way. And there's a lot of ways you can answer it. Just put some thought into it for me. Okay. All right. Let me move on here. Okay. I was looking at this. Okay. So this is the question sheet. Okay. So let's see. Third question. As you read it, and if you listen to the audio part I did, I'll kind of point this out to you. As you read it, making sure not more people joining in here. As you read it, look for people who help them. And there's a lot of people who help them, different individuals, different groups. So that shouldn't be too difficult. You can, of course, contact me if you need help. All right, send me a message and I'll try to help you. Okay. So, and once again, the audio, I point out people who help them. If you think about it, a boycott, in order to be successful, got to have a lot of people participate. A lot of people participate. Okay. So they needed help. So who helped them? All right. And then the last question on the first page, the question about the reading is, what side did the government take? So as you read it, look for stuff about the FBI and look for stuff about the military and try to figure out if they're helping the boycott or hurting the boycott. Okay. And that's what we're looking for in number four. Is the government helping, or are they trying to limit the success of the boycott? Okay. And don't forget, kids, you can be posting questions in the chat over here if you want to. And I am going to let you talk here a little bit. Let me explain this page. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Page two is the tricky part. This is where I'm going to try and get you to think. Maybe do a little bit of research online, look some stuff up, Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. You know me, I'm a big fan of democracy. Democracy gives people tools to help themselves, right? To help them improve their circumstances. Okay, it may take some hard work, right? But it gives you tools to improve yourself. And one of those could be a boycott. And some of you might be our future leaders someday. Some of you I'm looking at here definitely have that capability. Okay, so think about, maybe there's going to be something in your life, right, that you're really upset about, or something that directly affects you, and it's something that a company is doing, right? You may want to participate or possibly lead a boycott. So the second page of this activity deals with that. And you'll probably have to go online to do this, right? But for the first question, it asks you to list some companies that you might want to boycott, right? And what you're going to want to do is come up with at least three and indicate why they could be boycotted. And that's really not as tough as it sounds, okay? Think about companies that might be hurting the environment. Think about companies that maybe should be treating their workers better. Think about companies that should be making safer, healthier products. Think about companies that are hurting animals, right? Maybe some of you are animal lovers and you'd like to see animals get hurt. There are some companies that do cruel things to animals, right? So, and you maybe you want to boycott them, okay? You're probably going to have to go online and you'll find some. And it may even be some companies you like. You may find out some stuff you don't want to find out here, but it's important to be informed, right? And make those companies better and get them to stop doing that and become better. Okay. So see if you can find 3 companies and tell me why they should be boycotted. Of those 3, here, choose one. Choose one that you're going to focus on. Okay. So that's not too tough. Number 2, just choose one of the 3, right? 3 gets a little bit tougher. Now start to think about who could help you, right? Who could help you with this boycott? Who might you turn to for help? And that may require looking up some things online too. Okay. Maybe looking up some politicians that might support you, some groups, stuff like that. Okay. Who might help you with your boycott? Okay. Now, if you notice, it says individuals, groups. So I don't want you to be too stressed out about number 3. Okay. Right. Or number 2 and 3. I'm sorry. 2 is you're looking for helpers. 3, you're looking for those who are opposed. All I need is 2. So look for 2 groups that will help you and maybe 2 that would be against you, because there are going to be people that are against you, right? Now, one of those, of course, is going to be the company. It could be somebody else who is maybe connected to the company, who doesn't, who maybe would be hurt by your boycott. Maybe there's a politician who's connected to the company, right? They're going to hurt you. See if you can come up for 2 for number 2. So 2 that would help you and 2 that would be against you down here. Okay. Once again, you may have to look up some stuff and do a little internet surfing and stuff like that. Okay. And then 4, hey, future leaders, right? Future leaders. You might be leading a boycott someday. Who knows? Or maybe you're just participating in one. How would you publicize it? What would you do to get the word out? You need a lot of support, right? Okay. So, and guys, it's 2020, right? There are a lot of ways to get the word out. Just think about it. And you may know that better than me on how to get the word out and let people know about stuff. Even in our current climate, doing all this social distancing, right? There are still ways to publicize things and get the word out. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot, and maybe you saw this in instructions. You are allowed to work with somebody on this. You can work with up to 3 people on this. Okay. So it can be groups of, it could be just doing it yourself or a group of 2 or 3. Now, if you do that, make sure each of you still turns in the sheet and let me know who you work with. You don't have to work with anybody, but if you want to, this is an assignment. You know, if we were in class, you'd be doing this in small groups and sharing your results with, everybody else. And, we'd have time to do that. And it's actually one of my favorite activities we do, because we talk about some pretty cool information, sometimes some scary information. And it's just, that's not our situation right now, unfortunately. But if you want to communicate with a fellow classmate about what to boycott, that's actually a good idea. Do it from a distance, right? We are still social distancing. Call them, email them, I don't care what you do, Snapchat them, whatever it is. But if you want to communicate that way, feel free to do so from a distance. Okay. And each of you still has to fill out the form. Okay. I think that's all I have to say about that. So what I'm going to do, nice, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you, I think, and give you an opportunity to talk to me. Now, if you need to ask me a question, okay, about this assignment or any other, what you do is unmute yourself, talk to me, and then go back to muting yourself, just because it gets a little chaotic if everybody's talking over top. If everybody's talking over top of each other. Okay, so I'm going to mute you now, and if you want to talk to me, you can. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay. All right, everybody's unmuted. Okay. Does anybody have a question about the assignment I just described?
Yes, I do.
Who is that?
Are we allowed to work with Jared? It's Jared.
Hey, Jared. Nice picture, dude.
Are we allowed to work with other people from different classes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, really good.
All right.
As long as it's social studies too, that's totally fine.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, good question, sir.
All right,
yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else got a question? And remember, guys, this isn't due until the end of the day Tuesday. You can literally turn in 11:59 Tuesday night. So, right. So you've got time. You got time.
All right, Lukasco, I got a question.
I might have an answer.
All right, so I think it was the second page, question 3.
Yeah.
No, question 2. So I was thinking about doing Nike, boycotting Nike because of the rumor that they use the sweatshops, right?
Right.
And child labor.
Right.
And so, yeah, number 2, could I just put down like other shoe companies? Because I feel like other shoe companies would actually try and like come with me, you know, that way they could also get their sales up type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. And of course, those companies would have to be, you know, on the up and up, like not doing it themselves. If that makes sense to you. So you might
All right,
want,
yeah.
you might want to take a look at that. Like, I don't know if Adidas is going to help you if they use child labor too, or did, or, you know. Hopefully, none of them do anymore. But I know that was definitely an issue with Nike not too long ago, and maybe it still is. It'd be interesting to see if you find that out. That's a really good example, Ray. I'm glad you brought that up. And you guys may notice this may not take you that long once you get going. You know, you may knock this out today, but just make sure you do a good job. Anybody
All right,
else?
thank you.
All right, Ray. Anybody else got a question about it? Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about 15.4, which some of you have already done and done a great job on. So if you want to check out during this, you can. But some of you missed a decent amount of points, and you may want to resubmit it, and a lot of you still need to do it yet. So let me go back to my Google Classroom page here. Go back to the main page, the stream, and click on that, and click on the instructions. Okay, so I just wanted to point out, kids, now, you know I always expect a quality effort, right? So I always expect a quality effort. So when it says ways, and actually, Ray, you just asked about this not too long ago. When it says provide 5 ways, so when you see something say like provide 5 ways, you got to make sure you clearly communicate the way, if that makes sense. Like I've had some kids miss it because like for Native Americans, they put AIM, the American Indian Movement, which that's good, but you still want to tell me a little bit more about them. Like, why did they form? Like, what was their reason for forming? So it's not like you got to give me a novel or anything, but you know, this isn't an essay by any means, but remember, you're still kind of doing this stuff for Mr. No Clue. Okay. So like you would put AIM, I guess I'll just give you an answer for this one's as an example. So like for Native Americans, you would put AIM, which stands for American Indian Movement, and they formed in protest to police brutality and for Native American civil rights. So that'd be like a great answer for AIM, right? Not too long, but very specific, very clear, nice effort. Okay? So that's 15.4. Now, some of you submitted this already, and I graded it, and you got that like a 5 out of 10 because you didn't know that. Please feel free to resubmit it. Okay? Because it's, you know, we're talking about it. Okay? Anything else? Any other questions? I got a few more announcements, and then I'm going to close. Here's what I want to tell you, kids. If this extended closure goes all the way to the end, and according to news reports, that may very well happen. Maybe not. Maybe we'll be able to open up somewhat. If it goes all the way to the end, at the end, I am going to have you do like a final keynote or Google slide thing where you create a thesis statement on a topic and tell me how you proved it. Okay? So that'll be your last assignment of the year. Now, if we're back, I'm still going to have you do that assignment, but we'll be in class doing it.
Yeah.
All right? Okay?
I'm listening.
All right, Lukasco, I got another question.
I might have an answer.
Okay, so for the graphic organizer we were just talking about,
Word.
in the Native American side, I have 4 individual things,
Yeah.
and I had trouble finding a 5th one.
It is kind of tough for them. Did you,
Yeah,
is there any did you put down like any key leaders in there, Ray? And maybe who they were?
no, just going off of what the direction said, I didn't really think to put any like leaders or something like that. Just more of like the acts and stuff
Well,
that they did.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think, if you could find 5 acts, that's a better answer to the question. But in order to make it easier on you, if there's something you could put about maybe a key leader that would help you. Like I know they mentioned there's one guy who became a senator and some of the things that he argued for. You could mention that if you wanted. Okay.
Yeah, like governor of Colorado or something like that.
Yeah. And what you could do is you could say formation of AIM and why they formed, and then you could say some of the things they did, like Wounded Knee, the March of Broken Treaties is in there. What else is in there? There's the Declaration of Indian Purpose is in there, so that's 4. And then I want to say there's some type of voting rights reform that you could mention too.
I did see the voting rights thing.
Yep.
I already got the Declaration of Indian Purpose and the riot in six Swaks,
Sioux,
whatever
yeah,
it is.
that's the name of a tribe, Sioux. That's a
Yeah.
tough one. It's actually pronounced Sioux. That's how they pronounce it.
All right.
That's a tribe. And that tribe, Ray, actually kind of has a history of being, I guess aggressive would be the word to be, militant. Like they kind of have a culture of, like, during the wars of the West, they were very aggressive, a warlike tribe. And so it's interesting to me that they were kind of like the militant part of the AIM group, like taking over Wounded Knee. So, no, really good question.
All right.
Good question.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Lacasco,
Yo,
for the
this is Jared.
Cesar Chavez. Yes, Jared.
Yeah, what's up?
For the Cesar Chavez, is that for next quarter's grade, or is that for this quarter's grade?
That'll be next quarter. Yeah, that'll be your first grade in next
All
quarter.
right, thanks.
So what I want you to think about, Jared, is remember,
Okay.
one thing that the administration said is you can turn in any stuff that was assigned this third quarter during the extended closure by the end of the day tomorrow. Okay, so you might want to go back and look, and I can't remember
Okay.
without looking, but you might want to look and see if there's any assignments you didn't complete yet and focus on those and getting those to me by the end of the day tomorrow. The Cesar Chavez thing, that'll be the first grade of next quarter. Yeah, another good question.
All right, thank you.
Nice questions, guy. I hate it when I get on here and nobody asks. Nice. Hey, Brian.
Hello. For the graphic organizer, it's a third quarter grade, right?
Yes, that is on this grade. Yep, because it's due at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yep. Although remember, due dates are also flexible now too. So if you don't get it done until tomorrow, that's fine. But we have been instructed to not accept any stuff from the third quarter beginning on Monday. So anything that was assigned during this third quarter, I gotta have by the day tomorrow. And then we kind of, the total grade keeps going, it's continuous, but we kind of start new on Monday, okay? And your first assignment is that Cesar Chavez activity, okay?
Okay, I see. And then, like, if I want, like, I just turned it in right. I just turned the graphic organizer in right now, and if I get it back, if I had like questions wrong, like, do I just turn it in tomorrow?
Yep, you can resubmit. You can
Resubmit. Okay.
Yep.
Resubmit.
For sure. Okay, and guys, please try, and I think everybody is. I think when I hand back stuff, people are looking at the feedback. I feel like kids are doing that. So keep doing that. That's important because you can learn from that and you can resubmit things. And I usually get a notification when that happens. Okay, I'll get like a message, so-and-so resubmitted this. And if I miss it, like if you go on PowerSquare, like, hey, Mr. Lacasco, I resubmitted this, send me a message and I'll take a look at it. Because I am getting, guys, I'm not counting assignments that are turned in, questions, emails. I am literally getting hundreds of messages a day. All I'm doing all day is answering messages. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, okay, guys, unfortunately, I'm running out of time or I'm going to have to pay. So I got to go. But if you have if you have another question, send it to me right now. Okay. Or anytime. I mean, okay. If you have a question about this assignment or any others, send me a message and I'll try to take care of it or answer it as soon as I can. Guys, just let me close with this. I really miss teaching in my classroom. That is not just lip service. I am not just saying that. I am missing teaching very much. Okay. Vermillion High School is like a second home to me. I've spent a lot of time in that classroom, a lot of time in those hallways, and I really miss, having class discussion, talking to kids. I know sometimes I'd get mad and yell and all that stuff, but I miss teaching, and this would have been a fun activity to do with you guys in class. So I hope you're doing well, and stay safe, all that stuff, and hopefully I see you again this year in the classroom. If I don't, that doesn't mean you have to be a stranger next year. You guys can stop me and say hi. Okay? All right, I'll try to do one of these Zoom sessions a week. Okay? All right, I gotta go, but contact me if you need to. You guys take care.
All right, see you, Mr. Lacasco.
Later, Ray.